All right, welcome everyone to today's episode of Is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. And the show is syndicated as the Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. And you can also find me on JApp. JApp is a Jewish application which has lectures from historians and rabbis, as well as episodes of this program. You can find JApp on www.ap.me, or you can download it from Google Play Stores, and of course the email is messiahhour@gmail.com. The question today, is Judaism sexist? We talked about yesterday if Judaism is racist, so we're going to bring back on the rabbi who answered that question from somazal.com and gergear.com, the author of the new hit book, The World of the Ger, Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi Katz, how you doing out there?
Thanks for having me back, Ari. Looking forward to a great talk as always.
Yes, indeed. Now, we talked yesterday again if Judaism is racist, if it's prejudiced, I wonder if it's sexist. And let's start right at the beginning of the Bible. You have Adam and Eve. Most religions, I mean, even outside of Judaism, look at Eve as the one who caused the problem. How do we approach the story of Adam and Eve?
The woman who you gave to be with me gave me of the fruit of the tree, and I ate it. It was her fault.
That's what it sounds like. But he's saying.
That's it. I mean, this is, I think, Judaism, Religion 101. Right? It's the first story you're going to learn. It's probably the one you're going to remember the most. And the way you walk away from the story is, she did it. It's not my fault. Women are the problem. And we're macho men, and let's get on with it. So, I mean, I did a class on this years ago called Chava de Klippa. Right, the evil Eve, and I didn't mean it to say it's her problem, right? It's that you really can learn how a demonized woman culture, let's call it Erev Rav Judaism, fundamental Islam, and just kind of a low grade Christianity, right, where women are looked down upon. You can see in their culture how the wrong perspective of Eve can come out. And so obviously the goal and the repair, the tikkun rectification of Eve is to get that story straight. Right? The gematria, the numerical value, by using the hints or secrets of Kabbalah to understand Torah, of repair of Adam, tikkun Adam, is the same gematria as 611 as Torah. And anybody that has half a brain and have interest to look into this and not just be kind of a stereotype, cliche, male or female, is you realize Adam was Lobasator, right? Adam did not do the job. We say it's the repair of Adam and not the repair of Eve. Adam led Eve to that snake, and what happened? It was on man to do the repair. Now, the feminists can say, you see, it's all about, man needs to shape up. And it goes 50-50, but Adam was born first or created first, so he had it in his power to fix the situation. The real answer is, it's not about pointing fingers or he did, she did. It's a team effort. Everyone needs to get their act straight. And anything you can do to repair yourself will bring out the best in others anyways. So for the sake of discussion and argument, I think the bigot version of the story is she did it, it's her fault. The overcompensated portion is it's all his fault and he should just, give in entirely. And the real answer is real men should be real men and real women should be real women, and we should all figure out what that means. And the Torah really is about that. Clarification of gender and role, masculine traits, female traits, wisdom, understanding. And at that point, I think it's all kind of one, right? It says in the Torah, they'll become one flesh. And that's the point. It's about the right perspective. It's balance. It's harmony. It's not about, who's better, the catalyst or the fault. It really is about the ultimate unity of God. I think that's expressed in that story. And that's what's lacking, not only in male-female, but the entire world as a composite view of religion and divinity.
So do you think in particular, let's talk about radical Islam, ISIS, you see a lot of anti-women values and themes throughout radical Islam, the idea that women have to be abnormally covered up, they don't have any role in society, and then they are owned, 72 versions are owned by the quote-unquote terrorists, so that's an indication that they're property, that they're the prize of the terrorists. So do you think that's related to their poor understanding of the Adam and Eve story?
I've seen some articles being written. You know, there's a lot of things going on. Why isn't the Pope stepping in to save Christian lives? Right? Because we know that ISIS really has killed way more Christians than Jews. Right? The ratio is radically inclined. Now, we know they would love to kill Jews, unfortunately. But Lamaisa, I mean, look, in Africa, how many are they butchering every day? A lot. I mean, it's a Holocaust. Don't say it isn't. And why are people not standing up to stop it? I don't know. It's sick. I don't care who, what religion is being killed. It is a Holocaust, okay? But even more so, I've read some articles, and this is not getting nearly enough airtime. I'm sorry to say. But it is a Holocaust against women. Maybe the most in history, right in front of us in 2015. The fact that you have sex slave trade, women, in 2015 on CNN, no words, man. No words. That mankind is stressing the man could come to that in this day and age and have it so silent and so repulsive. There's no words. And this comes from like that radicalized religious perspective of just, I might call it bad learning or parrot learning or, generations of not learning it well and party lines. We've had that theme in the shows that we've done together. But it reaches a point where radicalism, and I'm not talking extremism in terms of, they're super frum, right? Because they wear the head coverings, all the body, you can't see. All right, super Haredishkeit in Islam is one thing. Sex slave trade, it's just, that really shows you how desensitized the world has become to women's needs. And that is radically understated. I'm aware of that. They even call it a woman's need. But the fact that the media portrays this, I mean, it's all messed up. Just the sex advertising, it's warped. It's beyond religious salvation. So you have to transcend religion to get there. And the Torah is the answer. But it has to be looked at as not a religious code, but really as the will of God, where you have the harmony of male-female is the essence of Kabbalah and divine wisdom. Because otherwise, no one's getting it, right? There's a shidduch breakdown, a gender war in dating. That article is going around the internet too. Men aren't interested in dating women, and they're saying, you should feel sorry for us. We can't get dates. Women don't like us anymore. And they're blaming the women. Now, okay, women, should have interest in men, blah, blah, blah. But Jonesy, right? He doesn't even know how to relate to a woman still. So what? He's going to get back on the saddle and just, do the same sins over and over again? You know what I'm saying? It's a revolving door. So they're complaining that there's no shidduch, and men are going to get the short end of the stick. Women are more beloved in society, and this kind of gender war going on. But the guys still have not got the message as to what a woman is. Or even hearing the question. It's not even a question. And that, to me, is one of the biggest problems.
Again, this is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Arut Sheva, and the show is syndicated as the Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com, and we're continuing our conversation with Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi Katz, let's talk about the story in Bereshit of Abraham and Sarah, because that is kind of the new version of Adam and Eve, where you have two Jewish people involved. They are the foundations of the Jewish people. So talk about how that relates to our topic, if Judaism is sexist or not.
So what's good about Judaism is you have the multiple point of view, right? Eve is a demon, and she shouldn't have made Adam sin. Horrible Eve. Go away, right? And that's obviously the sexist point of view. And the same breath, the guy that says that, oh, Eve, she blah, 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 blah. And then you'll say, but Abraham and Sarah, wow, was she great? They say she was a beautiful woman, higher degree of prophecy than Abraham. She knew it all. How great was Sarah? Sarah. I'm not saying not. But you see, it's interesting that the Torah gives, on one hand, a permission slip to speak bad about women. At the same token, women are higher than man. And we're going to see that you can get the deification of women. You can get, the sex slave trade of women. Religion just gives you all these views. And I think guys that are just not interested in spirituality are confused. And it's sad that let's just call it the minority, okay? Because I'm talking about the widow, the orphan, the ger, the Levite, women, you name it. The people that get dumped on in society, they're kind of held at bay because people don't have their priorities in check on these issues. Like you said, we did racism the other day. Why are you racist? Why is there still racism out there? Not to say that Jews are innately racist. I don't believe they are. I mean, the learning creates a culture that looks like racism. It might appear as such, but fundamentally to the core, I don't think men, and especially Judaism and men, are sexist and bigots and all these things. But for whatever it's worth, the generations of exile and bad learning, when I say bad learning, I'm saying the times, the cultures, the predicament, the context has brought people to a porous state of learning. Things have changed. You might have had King David with many wives. This guy, Bob, is having a bad relationship with his wife. So he's not too educated, Bob. He says, well, if I had 3 more wives, old Marge would have her act together and things would be better. She should shape up. He's missing the boat. Again, it's I call it like, the fake salvation or Jesus program. That Jews are waiting for Jesus. As ironic as that sounds. Like, is there some kind of salvation coming? I mean, I think that's the perversions of exile. Because Jews obviously don't believe in that kind of salvation. We daven for Yeshua, which means salvation. The Messianics use that word for their own distorted view. But it's a great word in Torah Judaism. Salvation. King David prays for salvation all the time. But we've turned it into a non-Jewish affair. And it's become the hero of a bad relationship. Right? God will save me. Somehow, God will miraculously save me in my bad marriage. What happened to working hard for Shalom Bayis? Right? If anybody did that, that was Abraham and Sarah. Right? She laughed at him. He laughed at her. God laughed at them. The whole episode. He says, why are you laughing? I didn't laugh. But you see, they worked on their marriage. And that is a lost art. You see the divorce rate and all the, men don't want to get married because if you get divorced, you pay out all this money. And that is a crime. That is a crime. But the point is because everyone's gun shy and all these sensitivities. And the bottom line is no one wants to work. And why are women dumped on? They are hard to understand for a man. For a man's wisdom, it is hard to understand a woman's understanding. Bina. That's not an excuse to just say, okay, I'm exempt because it's hard to understand. But you know what? The point of women is to say, hey, Buster Brown, you're hard to understand too. You don't even understand you. And so where we kind of demonize women and their sensitivities, you're neglecting the fact that you're hurt and sensitive too. All the things that are hateful to you, you do to others. And isn't that the golden rule? That which is hateful to you, to others do not do.
Yeah, so I want to point out, by the way, you're talking about working for Shalom Bayis, and I definitely agree on that point. Not that I'm married, but I always find it funny that people will leave their wives and their children on Rosh Hashanah to go to Uman Rosh Hashanah. That's what I don't really understand because they're going to pray, but are they praying about Shalom Bayis? Because they're not really doing it, leaving their wife with the kids. But that's a whole other topic. Maybe we'll do a whole show about that sometime. Rabbi Katz, let's talk about the sacred feminine and people that worship the Shekhinah. Shekhinah, of course, is the feminine name to describe God's presence, if you will. So talk a bit about that subject.
Right. So the point of Torah, for a man's study, okay, is to acquire Bina, understanding. It's the point of revelation of God's will and revelations in this world. So the woman is kind of like the token of that thing, right? The concept of understanding, like garmented in flesh. That if you understood the Torah it ultimately comes to a woman, right? It says that the Torah, has to be answered for the pshat as opposed to pshuto, meaning the fictitious reality or the supernatural metaphysical reality cannot be reality, right? I'm looking right now at a computer screen as I talk to you, right? That's reality. Don't tell me it's God's will and, the computer represents the tree of knowledge of good and evil. No, it doesn't. It's a computer. Right? Now, allegorically, even Torah-wise, maybe it is the Eitz Hadas Torah, blah, 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 but it's still a computer screen. Right? So you can talk about the relationship of the Shekhinah and the Baruch Hu, the unification, and it's all one, and we would reveal God's light in this world, will be a light to nations, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, you are a man, you have a commandment to marry a woman and to produce children. Right? So all of that special interest in learning, really, it comes down to called a great relationship. Right? Getting to know somebody. Souls touching. And when you get into the souls, you're going to reveal, light of God. Right? God created man and woman to be in this matrimony. So that's the point, is to get to this level of intimacy, of souls, of sharing, where you really have divine knowledge. And if you're not willing to get there in a kosher way, obviously in a non-sexual, slanted kosher way, right? It's about, really going beyond the sexual realm. It's a cerebral, it's everything. It's the connection on every level, emotional. It's even just taking a field trip in a car and going shopping, spending time, being in her world. And men know that, but they forget because her world's different than yours. And the irony is, you forget you have those same interests too. Getting on a trip and traveling and seeing things, you just haven't assumed or fathomed that you could ever do those things with someone that you really truly want to be with. So we settle for less. Once you're frustrated, you give in to the animal soul. Things go from there. But if you're not willing to work at finding the true goodness of life, then one of the alternatives is, female worship. Just as much as there's masculine dominance, the flip side is some kind of a idolatrous pagan, female worship, which I think that's infiltrated Jewish homes as well. A totally submissive man who, for the sake of even bribery, right, is willing to comply with the wishes in a very dysfunctional way. So again, being totally what's called mavater in Hebrew, just totally giving in is also missing the boat, and it's not what Abraham and Sarah, for example, or Isaac and Rebecca represent in Jewish wisdom.
Again, this is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Arutz Sheva. The show is syndicated as the Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. And, of course, you can find me at j-app.me, and the email is messiahhour@gmail.com. Or continue the conversation with Rabbi David Katz, author of the new hit book, The World of the Ger. Rabbi Katz, let's talk about quotes of Mishlei, what they say about women. Also, Eishes Chayil, it's a tradition we have every Friday night to say a song for the women of valor. So tell us a bit about those quotes and those customs.
Right, so we do have consciousness that this is the goal, right? Like you said, every Friday night we're going to come home, sing Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the Shabbos table, and we're going to go right into Eishes Chayil, a woman of valor. Where is she, or how is she to be found? This is the closing words of King Solomon in Proverbs. Now, most religious homes are going to sing that song, so we're aware of it. Right, we're not throwing in the towel here to say we quit, or we claim to have the answers. So there is a spark of life with this ultimate goal in Judaism. And again, the Zohar focuses on this. It's like what the woman possesses, her precious trait, this thing called bina, understanding, the female wisdom. That's what a man needs. It is his completion. It's his other half. It's the Eve that came from his rib, so to speak, right? He needs that, right? He's missing that. She has that and what he has. So she really is competent to be the Adam here, ironically, more than he is. But her take is, I can't do this alone, right? I don't want to fix the carburetor on the truck. right? I'd rather do what I want to do. Why can't you fix the carburetor on the truck? You're built for that, right? And then we each do our job so we can magnify and take on the world. So that spark of kind of greatness is alive, particularly on Shabbos. So I want to bring in this other point off the cuff here. On Facebook, there was the experiment where a woman would walk in New York City, attractive woman, dressed, not totally sneeze, but, decent. You saw this? And she would walk down the street, and they videotaped how many guys would hit on her.
Right,
now,
sure.
And people chastise her, you look like, what? You're putting yourself in blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, by the way, real quick, Rabbi, I interviewed that woman on my show on a different show. So, and she's actually very, very nice. I mean,
awesome.
The video was to make her kind of rude, but anyway, she's very, very nice.
That's right. And I was appalled. I mean, guys out there, listen up to this, right? This woman was being barked at, whistled at, like an absolute animal everywhere she went. Right? You think it's like, hey, I see a hot girl. I'm going to go, hey, baby, how's it going? Like, she gets that wherever she goes. She needs you barking now? It's repulsive. Somebody walking down the street, hi, how's it going? My name is friend person. And it's like, hey, come with me. Hey, you, get over here. Like, what? What is that? You know what I mean? So Judaism really teaches how to use wisdom to appreciate the person. Right? I mean, it's like someone walking out with a gold watch. Like, give me that. That's mine. I mean, it's weird. And, ISIS reminds me of that. You have what I want. Give it to me. And I think the Torah really comes to refine the instincts of man and woman to use their intellect and wisdom to appreciate the God-given gifts that they have. How about the fact that she knows how to dress well? That's an art of wisdom. How about the fact that you know how to maintain your lifestyle, right? So there are things to appreciate, but the bodily soul, the animal soul, leaps like an animal, and it is our duty to refine that trait. The flip side alternative is ISIS, right? And no one deserves to be like that woman being literally barked at 24/7. It needs a change. It
Agreed.
really needs a change.
Agreed. And what we're going to do is I upload that interview on a different YouTube channel. I'm going to upload it on this one. So next to Rabbi Katz's interview, you'll be able to see that interview, the full interview with that lovely woman who was part of that whole 10-hour walk-in New York City. Her name is Shoshana Roberts, a Jewish girl with some ties to Israel, so she talks about it in the interview. As far as this interview is concerned, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more on the other side. This is a Prophecy here on IsraelNationalRadio.com.